From India, we all are fluent in English. So you know English and you know Russian. So I would like to ask you some tips, some tricks on how to learn Russian language. I have a very big doubt. What about the Russian grammar? In Hindi?
Hindi, only talk with Hindi.
Yeah, then it will be difficult.
First free Russian person in our country that you met, not good.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that all Russians
Yeah.
are good, bad. Sometimes our man becomes aggressive on foreigners because we have a lot of women. For example, only friendship, only relationships.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome to my YouTube channel if you're coming here for the very first time. And today we have with us Daria.
Nice to meet you.
She's a native Russian speaker and she is fluent in English.
No.
So it's for you, but it's approximately fluent because people in Russia, like English is not very common. Like people in St. Petersburg and Moscow, they speak in English, but in other states it's kind of rare. And the level of fluency that you have, it's approximately fluent. You just don't accept it.
Thank you.
So we're gonna ask her how she learned English language, and we're gonna ask the main topic for all the viewers because abhi jo bhi bacha hai India se, they have the same questions. What about the Russian language? So we'll ask some tips, some tricks. How can a foreigner learn Russian language? So Daria, how did you learn English?
Fluently. To be honest, I started learning English in ninth class because of arguing with my teacher.
You argued with your teacher?
Yeah, she said that we can study English enough, and we started to study very heavy. But during learning, I understand that knowing of different languages helps me to have a lot of opportunities first of all, and then of course it helps me to see different cultures, different points of view, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, to connect the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
No, it's a good reason for that. So what should be your suggestions? Because you know English and you know Russian. You're fluent in Russian, you're native Russian. So
Russian,
if if a foreigner is coming here to Russia and students from India, we all are fluent in English. So you know English and you know Russian. So I would like to ask you some tips, some tricks on how to learn Russian language.
First of all, you have to love our language. You
Okay.
have to love our culture.
You can tell it to the audience.
It's the main thing that you have to know, because we have our special mentality, our soul, and if you don't like our attitude, that it will be so hard to understand why we talk like that, not another way. That's why, first of all, you have to love language, love Russians, and we love you too.
Yeah, maybe it helps to stay motivated. You know,
Yes.
if you love it, you're motivated for a long time, and you won't quit in middle.
Our nationality is so empathic.
Yeah.
That's why we every time see when your eyes are brilliant from starting, and we so appreciate it, and always try to help you to start learning, and just funny things we also love. Anyway, if you have a question, of course Russian people help you answer, and sometimes even you have only one question and you have advice, drink, food, recommendation for living and something like that.
Yeah. So, what should be the tricks? Like first is love the language, stay motivated, and if a foreigner is here already in Russia, if a foreign student, maybe from India, from
Small
Asia.
habits to improve vocabulary. It's to live in language sphere. For example, you don't have to learn on the one word and this meaning. It doesn't work. You know you should to know our emotional coloring, emotional tone of pronunciation, and for example, no, it's
phrase,
not
maybe. Yeah.
phrases. It's better to learn together than word by word.
Yeah, it's a trick that I also use.
Yes.
Whenever I just see a new Russian word, I just put it in a phrase.
Yes.
And by putting in a phrase, I remember it for a long time.
Content's very valuable in our language so much.
Yeah, and I can share one secret. When you're learning these phrases and words, you can use a translator, which is the Yandex translator, which is very popular in Russian. There we can have
and contents conversion.
Yeah, conversation.
Yes.
It's
really
also really good. I personally.
Sorry, Yandex translator is good for real talking, for conversations, but contents to this one is good for writing and good for official style of speaking because they have a great basic.
So you can use that. I will somewhere here or somewhere edit it and post it because आप उसमें ना save कर सकते हो word, phrase और उसको save करने के बाद ना you get to make playlist. And you can share that playlist with someone else. Like I've shared my playlist with Rasha. So whenever I put some words, she can see that. And whenever we meet next time, she can ask me, SAKSHAM, do you remember that word? SAKSHAM, do you know what you remember? Remember how to say, remember how to use. So it's a really good.
For example, for coach. Yes. And I remember one more small habit. You have to listening, read, think mostly on Russian language. I understand it's hard on the first, but your English Russian improves x20 only because you start thinking.
In Russian, you're in this sphere. You're surrounded by Russians.
Yeah, it's. Like any language, for example, Russian people often travel abroad and start learning language, and when they communicate with natives, love language and live in language, they learn it so fast. But if you talk only with your
native language, like if I talk in Hindi
only talk with Hindi,
then it will be difficult.
It's unreal.
Yeah, it's impossible.
That
maybe that was the same reason I started learning Russian, and I was able to communicate with everyone within 6 months. So because of that,
too fast, and I already said your Russian is brilliant.
No, thank you so much. So and whenever students from India or foreign students are coming to Russia, they have a very big doubt. What about the Russian grammar? Because Russian, because Russian grammar is like the biggest fear, and in specific in grammar, what was even the biggest fear for myself.
So many specific in our grammar that even native speakers don't understand how to correctly put sides different. It's really a huge problem from one side. Our language so systematic because we have a rule for every case. But
that's even
it's
difficult.
so hard to remember, to know all rules, and it's unreal, to be honest.
And Russian cases, it's the biggest problem for foreigners. So how should...
Don't think about cases, because we understand you frequently, freely, even if you make mistakes in cases, in endings, but it's better to learn, understand difference between prefixes and suffixes.
Suffixes, yeah.
They are more valuable for our
For
understanding.
words, how to use words like perfective, imperfective.
Yes.
You know, it was like my biggest mistake because when I just came to Russia, I just started focusing on cases. And after some time, I understood that
Even
cases.
Russian people have mistakes in
yeah.
cases. For
And-
example, one of the hardest tasks in middle school, it's
Case.
case
Rearranging,
numbers.
yeah,
numbers.
match the following, yeah.
Yeah, because they have a lot of extra rules,
Yeah.
details, and you have to remember all
Yeah,
them.
of course.
For example, when we start talking with foreigners, one of the first questions was why 80 и 90?
90, да.
100, why 100? Почему не 9-10? Why not?
Ну, это просто так.
We also don't understand. You just you have to just love language and remember
understand,
this.
yeah. I'll quickly explain what cases thing is. जो रशियन ग्रामर होती है, रशियन ग्रामर में बेसिकली एक अलग से पार्ट है दैट इज केसेस. उसमें कॉन्जुगेशन होता है, हर एक वर्ड की एंडिंग चेंज होती है. तो उस केसेस के ऊपर इतना ध्यान नहीं देना चाहिए क्योंकि सिर्फ केसेस पढ़ते रहते हैं. तो एक तो 5 to 6 केसेस आर देयर और हर एक केस के हिसाब से हर एक एंडिंग चेंज होती है. जैसे मॉस्को, it's just a simple word, Moscow. And if you're going to Moscow, so if you say v Moskve, so it changes the endings. So एक छोटा सा example है universitet, v universitet, где мы
We
поедем.
even in English have a lot of mistakes
Mix,
because for us we have different предлоги. What is it? I forgotten in English.
Предлоги.
Предлоги.
Tenses
No.
of
Articles.
articles. Предлоги.
Our articles are different for every situation. В
Yeah.
Москву, под Москву, за
Для
Москву,
Москвы, да.
для Москвы,
Через
по
Москву.
Москве, через Москву. Все. Вариантов 1000.
Да, и поэтому русский так трудный язык.
Yeah. But it's not a problem if you have a mistake. So we are so polite for this, and it's
Yeah.
funny for us firstly, and then we understand. Oh, this person so hardworking, so smart because he tried to learn different language, different culture, and we think it's valuable when
Yeah.
people grow. That's why if you have mistakes, we only help you.
Yeah, it's
No,
really good.
90% of us.
Yeah, I know. You know, there are always some
Like
exceptions.
in every nation.
Yeah, always. There are pros.
If
cons.
first free Russian person in our country that you met not good,
Yeah,
it doesn't mean that all Russians
Yeah.
are good, bad.
yeah, of course. There are always people like good, like bad. So yeah. Russian grammar, Russian cases you explain.
Russian grammar, sites. It's not an advice, but first of all, you have to learn rules. But if it's hard, just when you hear that you have a pause in your speak or you want to mark something, you
Yeah.
should do it.
Yeah,
Mostly it
okay.
works. Not on the first months, but after living 1 year, maybe even 6 months, you by intuition understand.
Yeah.
You have pause, you have a
Yeah.
sight.
Yeah. You need to feel when to use, how to use.
Yeah, and we really love points, dots in the end
How
of
to sentence it,
sentences
yeah.
because it finished our thought.
So yeah.
For us, it's logical that you finish thought, dot, finish,
Yeah.
dot.
And it's it's really difficult.
It's difficult.
I'm still trying to learn how to use it. But yeah.
Now I talk only about dots. Dots, it's normal, but the rule, not rule, popular opinion that if you have a official chatting, you have to point you have to mark point in the end of the sentences because your thoughts finished. And even the last sentence in your message should be with point 2. But if you text messages in chat, something
it's
like
okay,
that,
yeah.
if you put point in the end of the last sentence, it means that you are agree for me.
Okay.
That's why. So
It's something what we should use.
yeah,
And
native thing.
yeah. So, what else can you suggest for foreigners who are coming, who are already in Russia? Some like Indians, students who know English very good and they want to learn Russian.
Don't fear to communicate with Russian people. I tell this phrase a lot of times during our video, but we are really polite. We are really love foreigners. I think that Russia like foreigners like nobody else. Because
But you know the street face, the famous
it
street
doesn't
face of
matter
Russia.
nation. Now even nation doesn't matter because our generation understands that not national is bad, only a person can be bad. That's why, first of all, most of us start talking with foreigners like happy, emotional tone, for example.
To be hospitable and
Yes, we want always. We always want to help you to understand
language.
our specific. We polite to stupid jokes. For example, every time we start talking with foreigners, балалайка, водка, медведь на улице, something like that, we firstly was a little bit angry, then tired, and now we just kidding this stuff because, okay.
it goes.
Bear and bear, why not? Bear on a bicycle, it's easy.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
No, with time you can learn language slowly and steadily.
Maybe like one more trick for foreigners who start learning language, it's to communicate with native speakers on social media or extra apps, for example.
Like tandems.
And
another
Hello Talk
conversation.
was good working few years ago.
Yeah.
Now
It's not good.
mostly
Tandems and other places where you can connect.
And we have one of the main social media, VK, and in VK we have a lot of apps, for example, meetings, and sometimes I know that our students from different countries create
profiles and get to know friends, make friends.
Friends, and they write correctly. I need a practice
in
Russian, and I know English. No, for example, only friendship, only relationships, for example, and few days, and you will have a partner for talking,
and
even
language.
in VK.
Yeah.
But like in every situation, you have meet a lot of aggressive person at first.
No, it's like that only. But it's good.
Maybe it's
but
not true.
All people are like that. But some people are always like that.
Maybe it's not everywhere truth, but sometimes our man becomes aggressive on foreigners because we have a lot of women in country, and we love to help everyone. We try to improve our life, study language, study something new, communicate with different people. That's why we easily only helps foreigners, and our men start texting at first days that it's better, you should talk only with your nation, something like that. Sometimes it has been, but don't see on this stupid stuff. It's only for little % of aggressive people.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah.
So to summarize this video, what all tricks from starting to ending that we talked about today? So
love languages, that's all.
First is love language, stay motivated. Second,
live in atmosphere of language, try to understand our grammar, but if you can do it, don't deep in it so much, because we understand you any case, and
The focus on verbs, prefixes, and like that, and use maybe communicate with people, use translators.
use translators, and if you really want to start learning a language, don't talk with only your native speakers.
Yeah.
It's a real problem, because that's why most of our foreigners don't know Russian language, even
Yeah.
after 4 years.
4 years, yes, I know this one. Because if you always stay with your people,
Yeah.
people from your country, then you won't be out of the comfort zone. You will always be in the comfort zone.
Living abroad, as I know, as a sociologist, psychology hard during 1 year, language hard during 6 months if you have practice. If you don't have practice, you will be hard all time.
All time, of
And
course.
it depends on your optimistic,
Optimistic,
choleric, phlegmatic.
charisma,
It's
energetic.
characteristic of temperament.
Да. Ну,
I don't.
сколько ты можешь просто
Да.
делаешь и не импрессуешь.
Most of optimistic person live in different countries freely,
Yeah.
because they understand that you have relatives who wait you there, and you have great opportunities here. That's why you don't thought about what you have. You should work for your great future. That's why you have to learn and love it.
Yeah, it's good. So, thank you there for your time and for all the tips and tricks. And I will surely add all the links and
You're
translator. I'll add all the links, translator, and the places where you can just learn some tricks and suggest even more. I'll just make a playlist and suggest some more things how to even learn Russian language well. So that was it. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for the playlist.
And have a good night. No, maybe day.
Yeah, whatever time it is. Okay.